you see broadly a module of these doctors in Pulwama, which happens to be the main area of recruitment for Jaish-e-Mohammed of Pakistan. Who radicalized them? Who planned the thing? Who got the explosives? Who made the device? Who planted the device in the I-20? Prima facie, to me, it appears that this group is a self-radicalized group which believes in larger pan-Islamic concepts. They have talked about anti-national elements. They have not talked about Pakistan. They have not talked about Jaish. While in Pahalgam, they were very clear as to who has done it. One is not very clear as to what the target was. And since he's roaming around Delhi, obviously he also did not know what the target was. It was not C4, it was not PETN, it was not RDX, it was this. So normally, this is a weapon which is used everywhere. It's called the fertilizer bomb.
Hello and welcome. You're watching Point Blank and my name is Aisha Varma. A devastating terror attack struck the heart of India's capital of Delhi on November 10th when a car explosion near the Red Fort claimed the lives of over 10 people and injured more than 20 others, sending shockwaves across the nation. Authorities have launched a multi-agency investigation into the incident as the horror and tragedy of that evening continue to haunt both the city and the country. We have HT's Shishir Gupta joining us to bring us more information. Sir, namaskar. Sir, 3 days since the incident, what do we know about the perpetrators and the handlers?
See, the interrogation of those who've been arrested, that's currently going on. It's going on by the NIA and by the other security agencies. Now, a couple of things are happening which normally you expect things to happen is that people don't speak so freely. You know, they get arrested, but they try and take cover and they do not. Second thing, everybody has, now that, this Dr. Umar Nabi, who's supposed to be the main bomber, since he lost his life, I am told everybody has said actually the baby was Umar's. And they put the blame on Umar. Right? It's another matter that all these people were involved in this entire conspiracy for over 1.5 years. Now, what is happening is that currently the interrogation is on. You are getting a feel into what really went on within the entire thing. But overall, what you see is, you see broadly a module of these doctors in Pulwama, which happens to be the main area of recruitment for Jaish-e-Mohammed of Pakistan. Right? Then that module has links directly with Faridabad, where Al-Falah University was there, where these doctors were working. And from there, one of the doctors moves out to Delhi, and that is where the blast takes place. Right? Now, this entire thing that has gone on, there was a Jammu and Kashmir police operation in conjunction with the Haryana police where they caught hold of all these guys. But on November 10th early morning, we pretty much knew that one had got out of it, and he was the person from Pulwama who happened to be Dr. Umar Nabi. This is what it is, and interrogation is on. We're trying to find out as to who's behind it. But what is coming out is that the blast that took place, the man actually ran out of that place from Faridabad, and he was actually trying to look at a target. Let's put it this way. But to say that it's clear as to who's behind it, it's not as simple as that, because these people are still to come out with details. We know who are involved with it. Okay. We know who's lost his life in this. We know who was the bomber. We know what is the conspiracy. But all the nuts and bolts have to come out. Like who radicalized them, who planned the thing, who got the explosives, who made the device, who planted the device in the I-20, and how the device got blasted. So all these things right now, the entire thing is getting unraveled. But to put it in a big frame, the module is contained and we have people in custody. That's where it is.
So bouncing off of what you've just spoken about, as per initial investigations, who do we think is behind it? Is it Pakistan? Is it the Jaish-e-Mohammed? What do we know?
Prima facie, to me, it appears that this group is a self-radicalized group which believes in larger pan-Islamic concepts. I mean, these are people who are, medical doctors. I mean, they're people who are scholarly, who sort of, look at the social media, they are more into, basically to chart out the atrocities against the Muslims all over the world, including India. So they are on a larger pan-Islamic cause. They have been in touch with Turkey. They have been in touch with Afghanistan. To my mind, that Jaish connection is still not there. There is a possible connection of Ghazwatul Hind, which is based in Afghanistan, which talks about Sharia law, which talks about, Darul Islam in Kashmir. It talks about those issues. So these people who are self-radicalized. They were radicalized by handlers based in Turkey, handlers based in Afghanistan. I still cannot unfathom a Jaish connection in this. Though, I repeat, this area is known for Jaish recruitment, right? But to say that, Pakistan is involved, I am not too sure. And one reason very clearly that indicates is because yesterday when the CCS was held, they have talked about anti-national elements. They have not talked about Pakistan. They have not talked about Jaish. While in Pahalgam, they were very clear as to who has done it. In this case, there is some Afghanistan connection is coming. There is some Turkey connection that is coming. But I am still to get the connection on Pakistan. There is a handler and that's where it is. But these people are people who have joined hands, got radicalized over this whole platform of Muslim victimhood. They have purchased weapons, they have purchased explosives, and then they have decided to do all this. So it's a self-contained module, so to speak. And to sort of link that, there is this posters that appeared in Nagaon on 18th, 19th October. To link it with this module or the Faridabad module, I think the two are slightly different, even though the main ideologue behind it is the same. The Maulvi is the same, but this is where it is.
Okay. So there is speculation about whether this was an accidental blast or a planned blast. And what do we know about what the target was?
See, first of all, let's look at what this man did. What did the bomber do? The bomber is said to have crossed into Delhi border around 8 a.m. He goes and the blast happens around 6:52 p.m. So in the interregnum, the man is going all over the place in Delhi, which essentially means that the target was never identified, right? Or maybe, since the man is not there, I can only speculate, or maybe the man was talking to his handler and the handler was directing him to go to various places to find the target. Now, the target would be a place of maximum casualty. The target would be a place which would have caused the most embarrassment to the BJP government in power. And the target would have been something which could have given mass casualties. But the man goes around, he goes to Connaught Place, he goes to other places, and towards the evening he's seen to be in a masjid, then he goes to other places. So apparently there is a couple of things that come out very clearly. A, the man was afraid. He was trying to sort of, gather his wits and gather courage to do something about it. Then he parks the car around Red Fort, goes around the place. Red Fort that day is closed. So Red Fort cannot be. The only place that possibly that could have caused mass casualty is Gauri Shankar Mandir that day. Gaurishankar Mandir being the day when all the devotees of Lord Shiva come to that place. Possibly that could have been there, but the man decides to blast across the road. So one is not very clear as to what the target was. And since he's roaming around Delhi, obviously he also did not know what the target was. And it's very clear that he also was apparently not very keen to actually blast himself. Because he goes around the place. He could have done it in Connaught Place. He could have gone to any place. He could have gone to, any building, any place. I don't want to speculate, but any place. Everything was in the open. Nobody was chasing him. Right? So, this man, I think, at the end of the thing, he knew that the police was coming after him. He knew that his time was numbered. He knew he was desperate to do something. He had no options. He knew that. And so he decided to sort of detonate. And he detonated in a place where, it was just, there was a lot of traffic over there. That's about all. So this is what has happened over there. And so it's not very clear whether it was accidental, because I am not too sure whether he's used a non-electronic timer explosive. That's basically use sulfuric acid to do that. Or he's used electronic timer, because those have not been recovered so far as I know. Then I'm not too sure whether, and if you look at the blast actually goes up, if you see the image. So which means it was not a shaped IED. Normally shaped IEDs go towards the side. It was not that. So I think it was quite a rudimentary weapon that he had made with lots of explosive, and the thing went and the thing combusted. At the time, at 6:52, without the man really knowing as to what he was going for. So ultimately, it shows a lot of frustration in this. And it was planned that he would blast. But where the target was, we do not know. But again, the answer whether it was planned or accidental can only be told by him or his colleagues. Because the plan was to only just go into traffic and blast. That's the whole thing. So it's not a simple thing to say, but target definitely was perhaps not identified. The man had not done a recce of it, because that's why he was roaming around all over Delhi. If he knew the target, he would have gone to the target and blasted himself. That was a planned blast. But he did not do that. He goes around the place, he goes towards Gaurishankar Mandir, turns around, goes to that place, and suddenly decides to blast. Right? And such traffic, that kind of traffic in Delhi is very common at that time. He could have done it anywhere in the city and would have got the same results. This is what it is.
So speaking about the results, there are again reports that this was a military-grade explosive that was used. What, again, according to initial investigations, what do they say about the kind of explosive that was used in this terror attack?
See, the recovery of this 2,912 kgs of ammonium nitrate from Faridabad clearly indicates that they were using ammonium nitrate as an explosive. It was not C4, it was not PETN, it was not RDX, it was this. So normally, this is a weapon which is used everywhere. It's called the fertilizer bomb.
Okay.
It's also called the ANFO, which is ammonium nitrate fuel oil explosive. So what happens is, you take ammonium nitrate, you mix mobile oil, car mobile oil in that, and you sort of, make a core charge in which you put the detonator and you put the timer, and that's how it goes. So, that earlier, what used to happen was, when this group called Indian Mujahideen used to operate, they used to pack that thing with lots of nuts and bolts so that the entire thing would become a sharpener and explode. Here, this ammonium nitrate ANFO explosive was used, and the vehicle in which he was going became the sharpener. So this is where it is. And on top of that, you have the fuel tank in the vehicle, which spreads the conflagration. You have the fuel, you have petrol in all other cars in which he is attacked. In the sense, when he blasted, the fuel tanks of other cars would have also exploded, and that would have caused the entire conflagration. And majority of people would have been killed by the shock waves. The shock waves of the bomb are such that they rupture your blood vessels, the first and the secondary wave. And then on top of that comes the fire. So this is what has caused the casualties.
So you yourself have written a book about terror. So you know a lot more than the average person does about it. Can you explain how India is going to ensure that an attack like this doesn't happen again?
See, this is a matter of very, very serious concern. Let me put it very clearly. A bomb attack in the heart of capital is certainly an area towards which India definitely has a zero tolerance to it, right? But what you need to do is, the only answer to this question is that you need to really step up in your intelligence. If the intelligence is good, they actually caught hold of the module, but then one guy escaped. But you need to really, really ramp up your intelligence. You really, really need to move towards preemption rather than, coming out the details in post-investigation. Because innocent people lose their lives in this. So you need to prevent the loss of lives in this. And the only way to do is you need to have far superior electronic human intelligence so that you keep on breaking these modules and ensuring that people do not congregate on a similar ideology, on an Islamist ideology on a particular platform, and then they start to radicalize each other. So the only way out is this. One is this. Second thing, the intelligence agencies, the state police need to be on the same page. There has to be better coordination in this. There is no other way around. There are platforms for this. For instance, there is a multi-agency center of the Intelligence Bureau. There is Joint Task Force on Intelligence that is there. Then you have the subsidiary Intelligence Bureau. So everybody has to work together. So if somebody has got a threat or somebody has picked up an imminent threat, he needs to communicate to others so that others are also ready for it. Now, had that been a case of, had that been really a case, then this man who escaped would have had a better chance of getting caught. If the entire thing, if the synergy was much better than what had been achieved. So the only answer to this question is that India needs to recognize an imminent threat and India needs to vacate that threat, whatever it is. Anybody can say anything. We just need better intelligence. We need better enforcement. And that's how it is. There is no mantra to this. There is, it can happen to anybody. Let's be very clear on that. But the point is, we need to be really, really be very sharp to actually pick these things, because given the world of social media, given the way, various things are orchestrated over the social media, given the planted directional news that you get sometimes by other channels, right? By other places, the chances of one getting radicalized over something are very, very, the threat is there. And the chances of radicalization are very real. That's a fact of it. So, given that the world, the way things are, Gaza is still on, Ukraine is on, Azerbaijan, Armenia is on, Middle East is on, Iran is on, Afghanistan, Pakistan is on. So, there is obviously this whole thing. And then there are people who want to make it out a case of Muslim victimhood in Kashmir and so on and so forth. And in this country, while there is hardly any evidence of that. So, in such a place where, things are in such a boil, one needs to ensure that everything is tracked, what is happening in social media. And one needs to really react to it so that, people get to know the truth. The fact checking has to increase as far as social media goes. But the ultimate answer lies only in better intelligence. One must remember that there is hardly, touch wood, there is hardly an attack that has taken place in US after the 9/11. Why? Because they have far superior intelligence. And that's where it is. Okay, so we need to have better people on ground. We need to have more human on ground. We need to have people who have initiative on ground. Here, it's not a question of, the leadership. The leadership is very clear. The leadership is willing to empower you with everything. But the point is, it is for those people who are on the ground to pick up signals immediately and react to them faster. And that is the only way out of it. Otherwise, we are on a very sticky wicket when it comes to Islamists.
So thank you so much for joining us and helping us build a better perspective on what's taken place. As India mourns those who have been lost, investigations continue. Do stay tuned to Hindustan Times for the latest.